Umar Mulinde was a Muslim who hated Israel until Jesus appeared to him in a dream. After that, he became a Christian and started a church in Uganda.
But his remarkable story doesn't end there. Scott Ross met Mulinde in Israel, where he was receiving treatment for severe burns after Muslim extremists threw acid on him.
On Christmas Eve 2011, Pastor Umar Mulinde was attacked by two Muslims with buckets of acid. The acid ate away his skin, his eye, and his ear. He now wears a special pressure mask to aid the healing process.
My conversion from Islam and my love and promotion of the love of Israel in my community touched the people on the other side to haunt me and to hunt me for a kill.
Mulinde was raised as a Muslim and hated Israel. He knew if he deserted Islam, he could be killed, but he had a dream that changed his life.
Was it a vision you had or a dream?
It's a dream, sleeping. I was in the midst of fire crying, but I saw that many of the people who were with me in this fire were the fellow Muslims we go with in the mosque. But as I was crying at the climax of the scene, somebody shining stood on the right side and told me that Islam is leading you to this torture. Repent, be born again, you shall survive.
Instead of believing in Jesus, Mulinde prayed Muslim prayers against bad dreams, but it didn't work.
And after that, I went back to my place, and the dream came again. The following day, I took myself to the church, and I gave my life to Jesus.
Mulinde became a successful evangelist, winning other Muslims to the Lord. He later founded Gospel Life Church in Kampala, Uganda, where 30% of more than their 1,000 members are ex-Muslims. He also came to love Israel and brought others to visit the Holy Land.
Your former friends and your brothers in Islam must have hated you.
They hated me. That's the reason. So on the 24th of December 2011, as I was coming out of my church, somebody pretended as a believer. He said, "Pastor, can you help me?" He wanted my attention, my full face. Yet he had a bucket of acid in his right hand. As I was turning like this, the Spirit of God in me told me, he's the wrong person. So I turned my face to enter my car quickly to drive away. As I was approaching my car, he poured a bucket of acid on my head. Oh. So I felt like I'm being thrown into hell. I felt fire from up to down to my toes. And I was like, something is cooking me. And they shouted, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, 3 times. I realized that I have fallen into the ambush of Muslim terrorists.
Mulinde was rushed from one hospital to another, first in Uganda, then in India, and finally Israel.
It was a deep, very deep and very severe burn to the face, ear, and eye.
I spoke with Dr. Joseph Hike, head of the burn center at Sheba Medical Center, Tel Omer Hospital.
Because it was 2 weeks old, we had to wait and see that our cleansing was good enough or sufficient. And then in the second stage, we ordered skin substitutes. We reconstructed the face, obviously in association with his own skin grafts.
This is a man from Uganda, and here we are in Israel. So why would you take him in here?
There's no difference, and we do not discriminate between age, race, origin, religion, or whatever. This hospital has a big tradition for many years now to help around the world.
What is the prognosis now from here on out?
Most of the grafting helped and succeeded in 100%, but unfortunately we'll need further surgeries.
Mulinde told me that people need to understand that it takes the power of God to spread the gospel and comes with persecution.
So you're not angry with God?
I'm not angry with God. It has encouraged me to serve the Lord more, to expose the lies. You see, people say Islam is a peaceful religion. But if you say that Islam is peaceful, look at me.
Yes.
I am the true picture of what Islam is all about.
But they say there are radical elements and there are good elements, peaceful elements in Islam as well.
But that's not practical because these radical people, they read what they read from the Quran. And whenever a Muslim does not like something, everywhere in the world people know, they will demonstrate on the street. If not killing ambassadors, they will burn the houses and everything.
Mulinde says Islam wants to rule the world, and terrorists take their inspiration from verses in the Quran.
This verse says, فَقَتِلْهُمْ حَتَّى لَا تَكُونَ فِتْنَةً وَيَكُونَ دِينَ اللَّهِ.
Which means?
Kill, fight, and kill those non-Muslims until when there is no any other except the religion of Allah.
How do we, as Christians, in my case, an American Christian from Scotland, how do we fight that? How do we defend ourselves against that?
Islam is eating the West because the Western world has compromised and sweet-talking about what is happening and thinking that keeping quiet will solve the situation. But you have to remember, hiding your head in the sand cannot chase your enemy who is chasing you to kill you.
How do I love my enemy? If in this case you said you love your enemy, they did this to you.
The best way to love your enemy, in this case, to love the Muslims, is to preach the gospel of Christ to them. If we take the gospel to them, at whatever cost, we are loving them.
Pastor Umar Mulinde is a Christian convert from a Muslim background, acid attack survivor, human rights activist, author, ordained senior pastor of Gospel Life Church International, a mission-driven church based in Kampala, Uganda, East Africa, and a pro-Israel international public speaker. He is also involved in soul-winning outreaches, discipleship, training, and equipping Christian leaders in Africa with practical strategic development, education of the vulnerable children, and care for the persecuted believers. He is on a speaking tour, sharing a very sobering message with powerful testimony and incredible inspiring life story of standing firm in the faith despite severe persecution. Because of his conversion from Islam to Christianity and his progressive gospel preaching that has changed many Muslims, he was attacked and burned with acid by Ugandan Muslim extremists. But miraculously, God saved his life and his face only put back together in Israel by the help of Israeli surgery experts. Despite his sufferings, he knows from the Bible, according to Genesis 50:20, that God can take a disadvantage and turn it into an advantage. Paul writes in Philippians that he was imprisoned for the furtherance of the gospel, and as a result, many of the brethren in the Lord were encouraged by Paul's bonds to speak and preach the word without fear, as evident in Philippians 1:12-14. In a very like manner, he carries a very compelling message of hope, motivating believers to live victorious despite what the world is throwing against us. Still, we can overcome trauma, overcome bad news, overcome betrayal, overcome stigma, overcome shame, overcome a bad day, overcome painful procedures, turn our test into testimony, change our trials into triumph, creating something good out of ugly experiences, singing a new song again. He is also able to share powerful messages about prayer, revival, soul winning, and astounding testimonies about God's working power in our ministry in Uganda. If you think that this is something your congregation need to hear, please give him an opportunity to come speak to your congregation. Without a doubt, your congregation will be greatly encouraged. If you would like to invite Pastor Umar Mulinde to come speak to your congregation, please send us an email to mulinde1@yahoo.co.uk or call 781-420-5254. And you can find more of Pastor Umar Mulinde's testimonies on his website,